Stewart, we were talking about trajectory around the greens and the importance of it. Obviously, you've had success overseas playing link-style golf. Let's talk about low trajectory first. And interestingly enough, you have a lofted club for your low trajectory example, and then we'll switch over to a more traditional 7-iron, 6-iron, low lofted club. So show us low trajectory with a 56-degree sandwich and what you try to do to keep the ball down.
Really, trajectory on the short game comes from whatever loft you're showing the ball at impact. And all you need to do is just adjust the ball position. So, you know, you put it back in the stance and you set up just like you did on your block practice, and you have a nice little rhythmic, you know, something like that. And you're going to hit it low. It's no problem. But you just have to be aware of what the club face is doing at impact. And you set that all up before you even take the club back.
Now for amateurs at home, playing a lofted wedge like that back in their stance, obviously is going to increase spin. Whereas, you know, a flatter face club is going to be tumbling over. There's going to be some spin involved. So what would you tell the amateurs at home?
Well, the only way you would add spin is if you really like chop down on the back of it. We're not trying to do that. We're not changing our mechanics, and we're just letting the ball position dictate the angle of attack on the ball and therefore the trajectory. So that's nice and low. It's, you know, you can judge how far that ball is going to go fairly easily, even off of this. You know that?
Yeah, that's a sticky lie there with the rough.
Stuff.
All right, let's do this. Let's switch to a 7-iron.
A key thing between these two clubs, now one's a 7-iron and one is a sand wedge. You can see there's a lot of difference in loft. The sweet spots are roughly the same size in these clubs, but when you turn it back like this, your sweet spot just shrunk down a lot lower, right? It's smaller.
Right.
It's a lot easier to catch it thin or high on the face, and therefore you lose energy. With this 7-iron, you got way less loft than a sand wedge. We all know that. You're presenting the sweet spot to the ball more like upright, and therefore it's taller, and you got a bigger space to hit. You're going to make more solid contact with this club. So if around the greens, on shots when you don't need a lot of loft, you know, there's no reason to get the ball airborne unnecessarily and take a risk on contact when you've got grain and you've got the sweet spot shrinking down. And this can be treated like a putt, and that's the way I do it. I actually feel like I'm making my putting motion, putting grip. I do everything the same way I would do with my putting, except I got a little bit of loft.
All right, so question. This was just a 30-foot shot here with a 7-iron. If you're going all the way across the green where you're going to have a bigger motion, more violent strike, do you still use your putting motion, or do you go back to a regular chipping grip, interlock or overlap, whatever you use?
Up to, I feel comfortable with this up to probably about 50 feet or so.
Okay.
Longer than that, it starts to get really hard to control, you know, because then you're just more accustomed to hitting a shot that is dependent on, you know, loft and a little bit of spin and check, and it's just a shot we're more accustomed to.
Show us one down to the far flag there.
Yeah, I would still probably go with a putting motion from here and just expect the ball to come out nice and low. And
oh, that was cool there.
Yeah, that's the idea. You know, it's a fairly predictable choice.
Well, I think that's, look, for the amateurs at home that are trying to learn something from a major champion, I think that's a great spot to show, because not only have you described the loft and how it increases the loft, the sweet spot on the club, but de-lofting makes it a lot easier to control the distance, and we all need to be more efficient around the greens.